Okay, guys, thank you for indulging me and staying here. This is great. Um, so, today I wanted to talk about the art of delegation and essentially how important it is to have trust and privacy preserving frameworks as we hand over our intimacy and privacy to AI agents. Okay, more importantly, also understanding it as an architectural prerequisite for the AI agent economy. As you guys know, every time that we hand over a workflow flow or a piece of data to an AI agent, essentially the cost of it right now, the cost of this convenience is our digital sovereignty. The more an agent knows about us, the less we know about it in a centralized environment. And obviously, today I'm here to tell you that what we are building at BitGPT is the solution to that. BitGPT is a AI agent framework. It's a network co-founded by the SingularityNet founding team. Them plus myself have been on the mission for the last 7 years to understand how blockchain and AI can work together to really create digital sovereignty. What we have is an underlying network on which you can deploy different AI agents. Some examples of that can be an alpha agent, fraud agent, etc., as we build out this agentic economy. Now, as we experience as an industry this overwhelm, essentially, and a sea of AI agents, I want to invite you to really investigate the architectural fabric and sort of privacy design of these network structures. Not only because ours is particularly good, but because when you're looking to deploy an AI agent, it really is a long-term partner, or should be a long-term partner that you're deploying into your tech stack and not just a decision based on some Twitter sort of product demo that you're seeing. What we define as a sovereign state and where we want BitGPT to be is essentially the culmination of high intelligence and high decentralization. Currently, we often have a trade-off. If you have high intelligence, you have centralization. If you have high decentralization, we struggle to have high intelligence. In this process and in our architecture, something else that I want to prompt today is actually a change in nomenclature. Because if we build a privacy preserving framework, which we have, we distill large language models into small language models. We reduce down the parameter size to around 1 billion, which allows you to now host this model on your phone. Not only is this great for an AI agent because you can do task-specific training, but obviously the ownership model is given back to the end user. Now, this begs the question, where is then the human repurposed in this loop? Oftentimes, an AI agent sort of supposes, or the fear supposes, that we're losing any sort of input into this loop of delegation. At BitGPT, I like to turn these users into delegators. That's a term that we like to use internally. Why? Because delegation and being a delegator actually insinuates that I have autonomy, I have control, I have sovereignty, and I am at the behest of this entire process. A traditional user flow obviously shows, the user data or the prompt goes into a centralized system of an AI agent. It's a black box. I don't know what's happening, and I can't look under the hood. At the delegator flow, particularly at BitGPT, what we look at is, first of all, we define who could be a delegator. In our case, it could be individuals, companies, governments as well, or like all of you here, building Web3 services. Now, they essentially can do on-device storage, whether it's on a smaller vector storage or on an on-prem device if you're a government or a company. It's a combination of an AI concierge, some KYC DID solutions, smart wallets, and private AI model. When you have essentially this stack, now you unlock local execution and inference. It is only after the local execution and the inference that at BitGPT, our privacy preserving framework is built such that we do a synthetic data abstraction of how the model performed, and that is the data that helps grow the quality of our larger contribution model, which we call TrustML. Now, TrustML is really our secret sauce. It's what demarcates us from any other AI agent framework and any other AI agent effort in this space. Most importantly, I want to highlight that we have modularity as a core principle. We are not a layer one building out an AI agent framework or similar, we actually have the ability to interact with any LLM, with any layer 1, layer 2, or any Web3 services, with any other agents, but also with any Web 2 or Web 3 efforts, because behind TrustML is essentially a privacy-preserving structure that allows us to do function calling. Now, this beautiful graph on the side gives you an illusion of what that looks like. The user data is anonymized, it's then trained, local inferences, and that allows us to have a privacy-preserving structure. When you have this model of essentially a privacy-preserving network, you turn users into delegators. What now happens, or my personal hypothesis, is that a lot of the blockchain infrastructure friction points that we have, if you look at this graph, obviously, we all know this is a sort of typical stack of Web3 in a very high-level manner, right? There are always friction points, whether it's at the interoperability layer, the composability layer, cross-chain swaps, etc. It's extremely arduous. But what if each of these friction points or latency points now becomes an opportunity to build an AI agent economy? For every friction point, we can create a task-specific AI agent that helps mitigate this problem. We have launched an agent, our first last week, called Terminal, that essentially allows cross-chain swaps and any DeFi and payment management for you. Simply put, reduces down 20 steps to one prompt in 35 plus languages. We understand the user's intentions. We can then do multi transactions just through one prompt. And in that, what we really believe is that trust in this instance is a choice, not an option. So we have chosen to put a TrustML at the precipice of what we believe needs to be the foundation of an AI agent economy. It is not about us shilling our own layer 1 or shilling our own token, but really a framework that the existing architecture can embed so that we mine more value from existing infrastructure, which this space desperately needs, but we also act as a bridge to Web 2 infrastructure, etc. What this then amalgamates to as a benefit is when you have a small language model, ultimately it uses less compute. It has safety guardrails. So your AI agent that's doing your DeFi trading and portfolio management isn't going to go AWOL on your Twitter account now. And then you have also complete privacy. Now that for us is true ownership, and that for us is our formula and what we believe trust needs to look like. Obviously, we all know that now we have an opportunity to also create a new tokenomic model. What I find particularly interesting is we get to really pair tokenomic usage to the usage of an AI, essentially turning a token more into something like an NVIDIA stock, something less speculative and not dependent on economic market dynamics, which is really important if we're building this vision of a decentralized AI future. But interestingly, what happens is that in using BitGPT's sort of trust model, we turn these privacy risks that a lot of companies are facing when they think of embedding an AI agent into actually competitive advantage. So we turn a traditional privacy risk into something that you can now monetize. If you are a government, if you are a company, if you're in Web 2 as well, it is in your favor to have a decentralized AI agent network and framework because you preserve your IP. Or on a government level, you preserve your sovereignty as a nation as well. And so this is really something that makes us unique at BitGPT, this ability to, as a sandwich middle layer essentially, to really operate with existing Web 2 infrastructure and existing Web 3 infrastructure as well. I want to show you a little bit of what Terminal looks like. This is essentially our first AI agent. that. Okay, amazing. So breakdown of BitGPT's architecture. Simply put, we have a token and governance layer, our network infrastructure and client layer that then also can interoperate with a data and integration layer. As you can see, there are so many different stakeholders here, meaning we can, at any of these points, interact and collaborate with existing players in the space. Whether you are a data oracle, whether you are Kaito, essentially, and are providing market data, whether you are a DApp, an existing DApp or a wallet, and you want to be able to enhance the user experience with decentralized AI, we also have a B2B SDK kit. This is our roadmap right now. We launched last year in Q4. We're now launching a fleet of AI agents. And then we'll be building out the network and the decentralized AI registry, all obviously leading up to our TGE and growing the community. So we invite you to build on top of that. And to finish off this talk, really what inspired me here today to talk about intimacy and privacy and put that at the top of everyone's attention was a quote by Harari, who said, "In a political battle for minds and hearts, intimacy is the most efficient weapon, and AI has just gained the ability to mass produce intimate relationships with millions of people." This quote stands out to me because inherently I think this community of crypto, blockchain, Web3, whatever you want to call it, lacks the ability so often to create intimacy with users. We are so difficult and we alienate ourselves in the lingo that we use that we don't create that intimacy with the end user, and so we don't get their buy-in that, you know, having privacy is better, having ownership is better. A lot of people don't believe that DeFi is really better than TradFi if you think about all the scams out there. But we have this unique opportunity right now to actually use blockchain infrastructure, decentralized infrastructure, to create a plan B to this dystopian world that we're facing with centralized AI. That is really why I'm here today. That's the mission I've been on for the last 7 years. That's why we're building BitGPT. But most importantly, I think of a world in 5 years when maybe I have kids or someone else's kids, and they are going to be building intimate relationships with an AI. At that point, I ask you the question, what do you want? A future where you don't know what that AI agent has been fed with, you don't know the epistemological origin of its reasoning, you don't know the data provenance of why it's doing what it's doing, or we leverage the existing infrastructure that we have in this community to create a contributory model that also has accountability within this peer-to-peer network that we all have, and grow the AI agent economy together. So in a nutshell, thank you for listening to BitGPT. We are ripe and collaborating right now with a lot of players in the space, whether you're a wallet, whether you are a DEX, whether you're an intent infrastructure, etc. Anything that we can leverage, any layer 2, any infrastructure where you say we struggle to have a voice with the end user, we can provide that front end experience for you and leverage the back end. Thank you for listening.